Hidden beneath this invasive forest are the ancient remains of Hawaii's genius traditional food system, known as the ahupua'a, where clean and abundant water flowed through an intricate design of terraced rock wall gardens, fish ponds, and productive forests.
Our ancestors were some of the greatest innovators of the world. This valley alone fed thousands of people in this ahupua'a.
But this brilliant system nearly disappeared after the overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom. Hawaii went from a highly organized, self-sufficient society to one where 90% of the food is imported, and the people face the threat of losing their traditional culture. But a group of native Hawaiians sparked a rebellious independence movement to get their land back.
We are not American. We will die as Hawaiians. We will never be Americans.
This is our land. This is our way of life.
And 30 years later, they've created a stronghold of Hawaiian independence. An entire village where they're bringing hundreds of people together to restore these ancient rock terraces.
This is Hawaiians restoring their land back to the original way it used to be.
This is not anything we brought in. This was already here, and we're just cranking it back up.
It's truly mind-blowing to see this ancient system coming back to life. And here's how it works.
The ahupua'a is an ancient land division from mountain to ocean. Water would flow from the mountain and come all the way through different areas that our people would be living in, would be farming in, and eventually make it out into the ocean.
The system revolves around growing kalo, also known as taro, a starchy root that needs wet soil. And these rock terraces are flooded to create ideal growing conditions.
Fresh water was basically the economy of an ahupua'a. Whatever you did on the ahupua'a had a negative or positive impact on everybody below you. So it gave people a sense of accountability and a sense of kuleana, responsibility. And at that time, there wasn't a concept of land ownership. We lived in communal land tenure. Every person had equal access to the most precious resource on an island, which was fresh water.
It just was a way of life for us. That was the way we governed ourselves before.
What it created was this beautiful symbiotic relationship that people had to nature, and they had to each other.
I was eager to tour the site and learn all the technical details of how this works, but I couldn't help but wonder, how could such a brilliant and abundant system nearly disappear?
The ahupua'a system was really destroyed in 1848 with the Great Mahele.
The Great Mahele is a law that privatized lands in Hawaii. The concept of land ownership was so foreign to us. These companies began buying up lands, and then they started to change the ahupua'a so they could grow stuff like sugar, pineapple. They essentially started to kick off the natives from the ahupua'a. What happened to our people was wrong.
And so a group of native Hawaiians started a resistance movement, occupying beaches and demanding justice.
We are entitled to the land that we stand on, the water in the land, the ocean, and the air we breathe.
The actions that we took actually forced government to really pay attention to what was going on.
And so the state of Hawaii eventually negotiated and gave them a piece of land.
I feel like the government was thinking, get them away from the beaches, get them away from the tourists, send them in the back of the mountains and let the mosquitoes eat them up. And so we took that opportunity and we discovered that underneath this invasive tree forest, we had a gem. Now it's time to work. It's not the protests anymore, it's about building.
We have a bunch of folks that are working on clearing the line, digging out some of these stones, digging out some of the rocks that might have been buried in here. We're trying to figure out where those new terraces are going to be constructed, utilizing those rocks that have been removed, putting them back into place, back into function, back into relationship and community.
We're truly standing on the base of a massive complex here. This is about 10 terraces. There are 100 that go into the back of this valley. This was their massive food producing machine.
Our ancestors did the hard job of understanding the gravity and the physics that it takes to take water down here through all these terraces, through all these streams. It's already been engineered for us.
When people think of stonework, they're like, we don't want to go back to the old ancient days. And it's actually like, no. When we grow food like this, we're going forward to what we've always been doing, what has always worked. It is our birthright to eat from our place in our original ways forever.
And so restoring lo'is like this is not just for looks. This is the green machine that is going to feed our people for the future.
This whole area is the Kupuna terraces that we've been focusing on restoring over the last 2 years. I'm excited to show you this whole gravity-fed technology. So we'll be going and walking to the headwaters, the beginning of where our streams interact with this system. All the water that comes into our restoration site comes in from this single source. This is a very special place where gravity and contour just magically start to line up.
So no pumps, no electricity. This is all just gravity fed from the stream.
Exactly.
So I see that the water basically is diverted from the stream here to this pipe, and then this terrace here is the top of your system.
Yep. This is the first patch that it interacts with. All these new freshly planted kalo are just about a week to 2 weeks old. Once the water gets to the perfect level, it goes from this patch and then eventually gets gravity fed into the next patch. We've installed a pipe to the exact level that we want water to spill in from the top patch into the second patch. And what's worth mentioning is look how clean and clear this water is. And a key to this is you have an inlet to the lo'i on one side, and on the exit, it's on the opposite side, so that it moves throughout this whole lo'i evenly.
It's actually pretty complicated to move water, to have it disperse evenly around this terrace, and then to have it overflow to the next and not have any erosion in the process. I mean, your ancestors, they just figured it out. The water is carefully controlled, each terrace having its own unique design, and that water is zigzag back and forth across this landscape. It gives the water more time to soak into the ground, hydrating the shallow water table and benefiting the entire ecology. Not only that, the slow water flow causes sediment to settle in the garden beds while the plants naturally uptake nutrients and filter out pollutants, leaving the water even cleaner than when it entered the system. It's using the same principles that we see in some of the most cutting-edge permaculture systems on the planet. Yet, this isn't some new design, it's the traditional system.
This is where we see the water return into the stream. We call it the ho'i. It's clean, it's clear, and it's better than where we got it from. After the water leaves this pipe, it goes down this little area into a pond that we use as another sediment catch. We are probably about 5 to 6 miles from the shoreline. When we have heavy rains and this stream takes on a different veracity from all the waterfalls coming down, we've actually found the o'opu fish in these ponds. And some of them were found like up to full maturity.
You're finding native fish from the ocean coming and finding their way to this pond?
Yep. Something about the current tells them it's time to go up. They have the ability to climb rocks. They have a sucker on their stomach, a foot of sorts.
Could they get up that waterfall?
They could, yeah. It's our goal to move into this lower area and make 3 separate ponds similar to this that's exactly for breeding these fish that we need to see. These exact fish, they were a true food source up and down the river system that didn't make the farmers go all the way down to the ocean to actually have fish. Our children need to see these fish in their natural habitat. And we need to do whatever we can to hold those stories for that next generation.
It's really fascinating to realize that it's not just the water and nutrients and resources flowing down from the top of the mountain to the sea. When the system is healthy, also nutrients and resources are flowing back up. So it's like you have this stream and you're basically diverting this water, you're putting it into this food production water storage battery that is supporting the life of the people in the community here, and then that water is going back into the stream in just as good quality, if not better, than when it entered the system.
You know, when we start clearing all these lands, look at everything we've revealed. Look at the technology that is all the way around us. And when we begin peeling back the layers, you begin to see there's a plan here set in place thousands of years ago, and we're able to see it today. Wow, it's all here for us. Our answers to our problems are here on the Aina.
Thousands of hand hours is in this land. It's new to a lot of people looking at something like that or even helping build this. You know, even me, I've never passed stones on and done all that stuff. You know, when we were small kids, that wasn't what you learned. Everything was American. Just looking at everything right now, you know, where we're at today, I see our freedom coming closer.
I definitely believe and can see the vision because I always think about it. For the community to expand and all these eucalyptus trees would be native Hawaiian plants and more farmland and having people come visit and learn more about the culture.
My mind's pretty blown at the pace of your progress. You've got serious momentum going on here. What would it look like to take this to the next level?
I think the world needs to see a fully restored Ahupua'a system. It's going to provide a blueprint for the world to see that we can live in a healthy relationship with nature. We have a lot of work to do. Getting more resources to provide for this restoration, I think, is just going to expand the network we already have built.
The momentum is here. This thing is working. That's why we're launching a crowdfunding campaign to help make this Ahupua'a restoration a reality. We want to see the terraces go all the way up to the base of the mountain. We want to see those fish ponds going below. We want to see this Ahupua'a restored and expanded to help the community, help the waters, help the fish. So wherever you are, you can actually be part of this Ahupua'a restoration. And to understand the full scope of the work, Keali'i took me up into the forest to show me something surprising. And it helped me realize why making this restoration work happen as soon as possible is so important.
So where we're at now is about 50 yards up from our current restoration site. The forest has all sorts of archaeology underneath these invasive trees. And the invasives are moving some of these old ancient walls and outgrowing its space to the point where it starts to dismantle what our ancestors have left behind. If we don't do anything at this stage, it turns into something like this in a very short period of time. Our invasive trees are some of the fastest growing trees in the world. So it's critical that we come in now while we still can make a difference at this stage.
This incredibly abundant food system is sitting here just waiting to be uncovered.
Now, we're asking for people to help us restore this Ahupua'a, because if we can do it here, we can do it all over our islands. And if we can do it all over our islands, we can do this all over the world. And we have to look to the indigenous peoples of those lands for the answers and the clues of how we will sustain life in the future.
In this system, every little detail for how to care for the water has been thought through. Growing food and restoring the ecology at the same time. It's no wonder that this has lasted for generation after generation. But the genius of this system is not the rock walls, it's not in the water flow, it's not in the forest management, it is in the social cohesion that underlies the land management system. The people living at the top of the system, the people living at the bottom of the system, they have shared interests. They need to collaborate, they need to cooperate to make this system function.
Prior to the arrival of the first Europeans in 1778, Native Hawaiian people lived in a highly organized, self-sufficient, subsistence social system based on communal land tenure with a sophisticated language, culture, and religion. All of the things we're doing on the land is all connected to the political, the economic, the social, the cultural conditions that we live in. Hawaii can be the example, not just here on the lands of Hawaii, but out in the rest of the world. All the world is looking for world peace, and they're coming to Hawaii to look for that, because Hawaii has the key, and the key is aloha.
Are you feeling inspired by this video? Well, there's 3 ways that you can support this work. Contribute directly to the project from this video. Sign up for the Patreon with exclusive content and extended interviews. Visit earthrepair.fund and help make the next fundraising video possible. So follow the QR codes, click the links, and let's make this happen.